host a summer tournament at our home course in Monmouth, and it's in July, and you can always count on Gary one of the 2 days to be up there just to watch his players in the summer and support them, and that always just goes to show how much he cares about what he's doing. He retired from teaching a few years back, and I know he wanted to continue to coach, and so he did the last few years. And then I got an email about a month or two ago that he decided that last year was his last, which he'll be missed in the conference, but he's left his impression in the Macomb area, a great impression. He's started coaching, and again, this is amazing to me, but in 1974, I think I was a year old then, so I don't recall any of this, but he's told me that that was the last year that golf was played in the spring and the fall. The first year was played in the fall, and the last year was played in the spring. And since then he's been coaching, now that golf's been a fall sport, for 36 seasons, 38 different teams, because he coached the girls team and the boys team in 1992. So over those 36 years he's had a big impact on a lot of different kids. His record speaks for itself, over 250 wins. And I couldn't have thought of a better way for him to go out this past year, winning our last conference tournament, as our conference is no longer going to be the same, as it's changing next year, winning his sectional tournament and taking his team to the state tournament. And then his invitational, another great honor, they've named it after him, so from now on it won't just be the Macomb Invitational. Again, I've grown a friendship with him over the past 13 years, and he's not only a great golf coach, he's a great person. And it's my pleasure to introduce Gary Saunders to the ICA Hall of Fame, Golf Hall of Fame.
I'd sure like to thank Mark for that introduction. It was very nice. Mark's one of our fine young coaches in the state, and it's good to have gotten to know him over the years. He's a great coach, great young man. Also want to thank Chris for all the work he does on this day. You know, things run so smoothly that I think sometimes we don't stop and think that somebody was behind this, and Chris is behind it, and it seems to work wonderfully well over here. Thank you very much. Also, of course, I want to thank the Hall of Fame members for allowing me to be in their midst. It's quite an honor, and I'm very appreciative and very humbled by it. I would like to tell you a little story. Mark mentioned the first time I was coaching was during the spring season. The year before I was a coach, the football coach was the golf coach, because of course fall and spring, and that worked out fine. And he had a football clinic, and the athletic director came down to my room and said, Coach can't go to the golf meet, would you take the kids to the golf match? I said, sure, teaching practical maths, that'd be a good thing to do. So we loaded up the station wagon, went to Monmouth, and at that time they played at Monmouth Country Club. And unloaded the kids. Around the corner of the Monmouth Country Club came none other than Bill Piper with a big smile on his face, his hand outstretched. And what a wonderful way for me to see what a golf coach could be like. Those of you that know Bill, it was just a great introduction to golf. And in that fall, the football coach had to decide whether he wanted to go with the new fall golf season or stay with football, and he decided to stay with football. So I was able to take up coaching golf, and that was great. But as a new coach then, I had a lot of questions, because I'm not a coach, I'm a math teacher, and a lot of things I didn't know, what was going on. And I can't even remember now, but I guess the football coach was too busy for me to ask him, I think, or what happened. But I had a lot of mentors of my own along the way. And that was what I was hearing last year at this meeting, was encouraging the new young coaches in our group, to find some of the experienced coaches that are in the coaching for the right reason. They're just not passing through for a year or two. That they're here to stay and they want to help. And I just want to reiterate that, because I had a lot of those coaches who, back in the 70s and 80s, would always be there to give advice or to have a sympathetic ear or to share anything they could about their team that would help my team. Because one thing I've noticed about golf coaches is they want your players and your team to be as good as they can be. And of course they want to beat you in a match, but they still want the best for you. And I think that's the great thing among golf coaches. As I say, I'm not a coach other than golf coach. I don't know what the other sports are like, but I can't imagine any other sport being more willing to share what they know with a competing coach as the golf coaches are, at least the ones I run into. And a lot of these guys I would see at least a couple times a year back in the dual meet days. I just want to mention a few of them to you. I know a lot of you will recognize names, others of you that are younger may not. But Jim Buckley in Jacksonville, Dick Lonsbury at Havana, of course Bill Piper at Monmouth that I mentioned, Chuck Dace in Rushville, Bob Keys at Quincy Notre Dame, Red Rogers in Hamilton, Rod Richardson in Canton, Dave Reinberg at Quincy High. All those guys and a lot more. Those are ones I saw usually at least a couple times a year, and were just so helpful to me. And if there are young coaches here today, I hope they will also, find people that will help them, because I know the help is there. They'll be willing to. People are willing to give it. Last, I'd like to thank my wife Kay, for putting up with all the golf stuff over the years. They get me out of the house. That was nice. But on the other hand, she heard a lot of stuff that she put up with, so that was very appreciated. Thank you. And again, thank you to the Hall of Fame. I appreciate the honor. It's a very great honor to me.